biblical command against mixed fabrics more than just clothes. Many people misunderstand God's command not to mix fabrics, thinking it is simply about wearing wool and linen together. But this command goes much deeper. It is about spiritual purity, avoiding pagan practices, and staying set apart for God. Leviticus 19:19. You shall not wear a garment of mixed linen and wool. Deuteronomy 22:11. You shall not wear a garment of different sorts such as wool and linen mixed together. Let's explore what this really meant in biblical times and how it applies today. The meaning of mixed fabrics in biblical times. Pagan priesthoods and idolatry. Many ancient pagan religions, Egyptians, Canaanites, and Babylonians, used mixed fabrics for their idolatrous priestly garments. These clothes were believed to have magical properties, often used in rituals to invoke false gods. Egyptian and Babylonian practices. In these cultures, priests of false gods wore clothing woven from different materials, symbolizing their belief in the union of different spiritual forces, such as good and evil. This corrupted purity and dishonored the one true God. God's call to holiness. The Israelites were commanded to remain set apart and not imitate these pagan customs. Their clothing, food, and lifestyle all reflected their obedience to God's laws. What this means for us today. One, spiritual mixing. The real danger. Many people focus only on literal fabrics, but God's command is about not mixing truth with lies. Today, many mix biblical truth with pagan traditions celebrating holidays like Christmas and Easter, which have pagan origins, following Sunday worship instead of the Sabbath, and accepting false doctrines like the Trinity, rapture, and prosperity gospel. This is spiritual impurity, just like wearing mixed fabrics in ancient times. Tomb clothing and vanity in the modern world. The fashion industry promotes immodest, vain, and worldly clothing that goes against biblical modesty. Designer brands push people into pride and materialism, worshiping status instead of God. Many use clothing as a way to seduce and tempt others, fueling lust and sexual sin. Are you dressing to honor God or to please the world? 3. Spiritual purity and the narrow road. Just as God called Israel to be holy, He calls us to be spiritually pure and set apart today. We must reject worldly influences, including false doctrines and church traditions not found in the Bible. The corrupt entertainment industry, movies, music, social media that promote sin. Materialism, vanity, and pride in how we dress and present ourselves. 2 types of people today. The set-apart remnant. They seek God's truth and reject worldly corruption. They follow Yeshua's, Jesus's, example, keeping the Torah and true commandments. They dress modestly, live righteously, and remain spiritually pure. The spiritually mixed. They claim to follow God, but hold on to pagan practices. They worship material things, obsess over clothing brands, and chase vanity. They are blindly following the world instead of walking in holiness. Will you be pure or mixed? God is calling His people to separate from the world. Are you spiritually pure, or are you mixing truth with the lies of the world? Do you honor God in how you dress, live, and worship, or do you follow the crowd? True holiness means rejecting the ways of the world and following God's commandments fully. The choice is yours, purity or compromise.